Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called Top 25 Places to Visit in Scotland Travel Guide. This is from a channel called Ryan for Shirley, so check it out. I think Scotland has so many beautiful places that I just 25, I think it's going to be really hard to narrow it down. But let's check it out and comment, like, and subscribe.
What's up guys, my name is Ryan and I spent the last few years exploring Scotland and I want to share with you my favorite places. So here's my Scotland
Oh my God, what is that?
25.
I love the music.
I don't think there are many places in this world that can match the beauty and magic of Scotland. From
It's magical.
seen straight out of a Harry Potter movie, Scotland is waiting to be experienced. Let's start this video off in Edinburgh. Of all the European cities, Edinburgh is one of my favorites.
It's
You
very
feel like
green.
you're walking back in time as you navigate its streets and alleyways. When I started traveling, this was one of the first cities I visited. It has a medieval old town with intricate neoclassical buildings, cobblestone streets,
This
and
is
beautiful
crazy.
gardens. The
Looks
iconic
insane.
Edinburgh Castle overlooks the city
Oh, they have a
and it's home
castle.
to Scotland's crown jewels. I really enjoyed walking the streets that lead up to the castle. There's just so much going on and it was such a vibe. One of my favorite places in the
It looks crazy to just walk around there or be in a bus or in a car because it's just so magical and like insane looking that you think, wait, how do cars exist in this place?
city is Calton Hill. It offers an incredible 360 panorama
Oh, it's
of
a hill.
Edinburgh, and there's some interesting monuments up there.
What
While
is
we're still
that?
in Edinburgh, we're going to head to Arthur's Seat.
Who's
Now,
Arthur?
Arthur's Seat is located in Holyrood
King
Park,
Arthur?
and it's a short walk from Edinburgh Centre. Arthur's Seat is an extinct volcano with an elevation of 823 feet. When I was there, I wanted to get up as high as I could to see all of Edinburgh.
Oh my
I made the hike
God.
up and reached the top. After I hiked to the
That's
top,
so cool.
I had a good time just walking around Holyrood Park and enjoying the views of one of the
It's
UK's
beautiful.
most iconic cities. Afterwards, we're
gorgeous.
going to leave the city to head up to Dunnottar Castle. Located about a 2-hour drive from Edinburgh, this
You can tell you're in Scotland because there's a castle every 5 miles.
medieval fortress is full of history. Today, only the ruins remain to tell the
Aw.
castle's past.
What's
I
that
really
about?
enjoyed walking around Dunnottar. There was a fee to enter, and we had a good time exploring this historical place. It always amazes me people's ability to build castles in the most peculiar places.
Yeah.
After exploring the castle grounds,
they
I
build
really
this?
enjoyed walking on the nearby cliffs. They offer an amazing view of the castle, and the scenery here was just spectacular. After, we're on a venture up the coast
lighthouse?
to
What is
visit
that?
Ratway Head Lighthouse. Located about an hour's drive away, Ratway is this lighthouse located just off the coast. It was built in 1895 and it stands at
Wow,
120
okay.
feet tall. To get there, it was an easy walk on some sand and coastal dunes. When we were there, the water was very calm.
I have like a very stupid question, but how did they build this in the 1800s? I know that lighthouses have been a thing since like at least 300 years, but still it's kind of crazy to me how they're able to build stuff like this, like with without modern equipment.
And the lighting wasn't amazing, but when the sea is rough with waves pounding against the
God.
lighthouse,
And during
this
the
place
sunset?
is epic. After,
Incredible.
we're going to explore one of the most northern parts of mainland Scotland,
What on earth
Duncansby
is this?
Stacks. Located about a 5.5 hour drive from Edinburgh, this was one of the places I wanted to see more
It's so up north. I feel like I'm in Iceland.
during our recent trip to Scotland. To get to the stacks, we parked by this lighthouse, and then it was a really nice scenic walk through a green field full of sheep.
Gorgeous.
After a few minutes,
Sheep?
we made it to this viewpoint. We could have just kept going closer to the cliffs, but it was near sunset and we were running out of time. Regardless, I was amazed at the view of this place. The
Yeah, what
sea
is that?
stacks were so jagged, and it looked amazing with the light of the setting sun.
Can
It
you
could
climb
definitely be a
them?
place
No,
where some
right?
dragons live. After,
be
we're going
insane.
to head to the nearby Orkney Islands. Located just north of mainland Scotland, the
More
Orkney
north.
Islands are home to some enchanting landscapes. To get there, we took the ferry from Gills Bay, and it was about an hour
You have to
ride.
take the
It was super
ferry.
easy and convenient. Once we got to the Orkney Islands, we started to drive around. A good portion of the islands are connected by causeways, which is very nice.
Ooh.
Now, the main reason I wanted to come to Orkney
What
was
is
to visit
that?
the Ring of Brodgar. It's this ancient stone circle, and it's positioned on this narrow neck of
How many stone circles do they exist in the whole of the UK? There's so many of them.
land sandwiched between two locks. It's believed that the ring was built sometime around 2500 BC, and it's the third biggest stone circle in the
That's way too
UK.
old.
I really enjoyed walking around the circle. It makes you ponder why
Wow, it
they were
looks-
built here over 4,000 years ago. It's
It looks
incredible
bigger
these
than I
rocks still
thought.
stand today. An amazing geological feature of the Orkney Islands is the Old Man Ahoy. It's located on the island Ahoy, which you
Is
can
the Old
access
Man?
by boat and then a hike. The Old Man Ahoy is this massive sea stack that stands 450 feet tall above the sea. And the Orkney Islands just have so many incredible places, and I'd love to come back to explore all the islands.
I wonder if it's called Old Manahoy because when sailors were passing by, they saw this rock and they knew that they arrived to the Orkney Islands and were probably Old Manahoy, Old Manahoy.
While we're still on the topic of Scotland's
Something like
islands,
that.
we're head to Shetland, located between the Faroe Islands, Norway, and Scotland. Shetland is an
Oh,
archipelago
wait, hold on. Where exactly are they located?
located between the Faroe Islands
Okay, between the Faroe Islands. Okay, so this is again more north. Okay, between Norway. Okay, again.
Norway, and Scotland.
In the middle of the ocean.
Shetland is an archipelago and the northernmost point of the UK. To reach it, you can fly there, or also you can take a ferry
I'm sorry, is that a Viking in the middle of the, what is this? Is this a ferry? Is that a Viking or am I seeing things?
from Kirkwall or Aberdeen, and it's about a 14-hour journey. Lerwick is the
14
main
hours?
town of the Shetland Islands
Okay,
and has a
that's a lot of
population
time.
of around 7,000 people. And this archipelago is
tiny.
home to some incredible beaches such as St. Ninians,
It's very
and
pretty.
there's so much incredible scenery on these
Ooh,
islands.
love it.
Afterwards, we're going to head back to mainland Scotland to take a drive on the North Coast 500, also known as the NC 500. It's a scenic drive around the northern coast of Scotland that goes down into the Highlands, and it's 516 miles
throughout the
long.
whole
I love
Highlands.
driving on it. There's so many incredible places and towns that you pass through. The days that we were
Must be
driving on
lovely.
it, we had some heavy rain, but we stopped at this place
oh my
called
God.
Smoo Cave, which is located near the town of Durness. It was easy walking to the cave, and it was just such a unique place.
This is
There was
crazy.
this waterfall inside
What
of
on
it,
earth?
and since it was pouring rain, it was just really coming down.
What?
It was a perfect place to visit on a rainy day.
I love how brown the water looks like. Obviously, it's because of the rocks, but I love it how magical and weird it
Another
looks.
famous place on the NC 500 is the Kylesky Bridge. It's a very scenic location with a bridge that crosses over a loch. Now after, we're going to head off the mainland again to visit
water's
the
very
Outer
blue.
Hebrides. Located off the coast of western Scotland, the Outer Hebrides are the longest
Oh my
archipelago in the British Isles. To get there, you can fly or take ferries from Ullapool or the Isle of Skye. We took the ferry from the Isle of Skye, and it was a very nice boat trip that was under 2 hours. We arrived in Tarbert and started exploring the biggest island of the Outer Hebrides,
It's
the Isle
idyllic.
of Lewis and Harris. The scenery here was very rugged
That's
and
what it's called.
beautiful, and there was tons of scenic views on the water.
This is
The main
incredible.
reason I wanted to come here was to visit the Callanash Stones. Of
More
all the stone
stones!
circles, I think this is my favorite. It looks like a scene straight out of Outlander. It's located on the northern side of the island, about
It
a
looks like a
30 minutes
clock.
drive from Stornoway. The stones date back to over 5,000 years ago, and it's believed to have been used in rituals. It was
Oh,
fascinating to
rituals.
walk amongst the stones. It makes you wonder how the stones were moved here and what their true purpose was. And it was such a
looks like a
magical
clock to
area,
me.
and I'm glad we made the long journey to see them. While we were
Yeah,
here, we
worth
wanted
it.
to visit some of the other islands in the archipelago. We decided to go to the
Can you swim in
northeast
those?
island. To
Oh,
get
I
there,
know,
we
it's
took a
cold.
ferry, and then it was fun to drive around. There were
Is that
so
one
many
of those
beautiful
buffalo?
beaches and coastal areas. I mean, if it wasn't so cold, you would think you were on like some tropical island. Now, there was this
Exactly.
place called West Beach that was right next to the ferry port. It was a huge beach with white
That's
sand, and there were some massive
stunning.
jellyfish washed up ashore. Now, the
that's
southernmost
sad.
island in the Outer Hebrides is Barra. And what's crazy about this island is that the airport is
Is
on
that like there are places I think in Ireland called similar to this? I don't know. Is this it must be a Celtic thing. This Bauer
the
name.
beach. It's the world's only tidal airport that uses the beach as a runway.
Oh my
During
God,
high
can you
tide,
do
the
that?
runway is underwater. And it's just crazy that airplanes actually land here.
This is
Aside from
crazy.
the airport, there's this really cool fortress called
Is that a
Kissimo
castle?
that's built on this island. I mean, the Outer Hebrides are such a fascinating place. Afterwards,
Wow,
we're going
I
to
wanna
head to
move
one of the
there.
most fascinating places in Scotland and the UK, St. Kilda. Located off the coast of the Outer Hebrides, St. Kilda is home to the
What is it?
highest sea cliffs in the UK. You can reach the island by going on a boat departing from the Isle of Harris, and it takes about 3 hours to reach the remote
That's
island.
quite far.
The history of St. Kilda is fascinating. It was inhabited thousands of years ago, but it was abandoned in 1930 due to several factors and just
Yeah,
the overall
why?
difficulty of living there. Today, only sheep and ruins remain
You're extremely isolated. It couldn't have been easy.
to tell the stories of the island's past. While you're here, you can hike around and explore this incredible
This
part
is
of
beautiful.
Scotland. Now afterwards, we're going to head to my favorite island
you
in
live there?
Scotland, the Isle of
Probably
Skye.
not.
Located about a 5-hour drive from Edinburgh, the Isle of Skye is home to some of Scotland's most
Wow.
famous places. The main town of Skye is Portree.
Oh,
It's
this
this
is
charming
pretty.
town with these famous, colorful buildings on the water.
beautiful.
My personal favorite place on Skye
They remind me a
is the
little bit
Old
of like Danish and Dutch architecture.
Manastor. It's one of the most unique and dramatic rock formations I've ever seen. It makes
have
you
so
feel
many
like you're on
cliffs and
set
rocks.
of the Game of Thrones. Now to get to the Old Manastor, it's a 15-minute
we can
drive
see
from the
them.
start of the trail from Portree, and then from there it's about a 3.5-mile hike round trip. The trek isn't too difficult,
Hmm. Yeah.
but it's a steep uphill climb up some rock stairs at points. The most recent time that I was here, we
Ooh,
hiked
with the
up into
fog.
the clouds, We couldn't see all the rock formations, but it made for such a dramatic setting. When I was here several years ago, I had some great conditions. I came up for both sunrise and sunset, and both times were epic. The legend behind the old Manastor is that supposedly a giant lived here, and when he was buried, his thumb was left sticking out of the ground, creating a mystical rock formation. Just a few minutes away from the old Manastor, there is a breathtaking waterfall called Miat Falls. It cascades down to the ocean, and there's a nice viewpoint where you can observe the waterfall from. The surrounding sea cliffs in the area are also stunning. One of the most famous is Kilt Rock, which is right by Miat Falls. Another one of my favorite places in Skye is the Korang Mountains. Aside from the old Manastor, I'd say that Korang is my favorite place in the Isle of Skye. It's a set of dramatic rock formations located on the side of a mountain. I mean, the grass is so green, it felt like you were on a golf course. To get there, I drove up this winding road to the parking lot. Be advised, these roads were really bumpy and I got a flat tire. Anyways, after I started hiking to the Korang, and it was a super easy hike with no elevation gain. I was lucky enough to experience the Korang with sun. Many people have told me that when they went it was too foggy to see anything. If you're here for sunrise, this place looks spectacular with the rising sun as it lights up the green mountains.
It looks insane because I wouldn't have thought this was Scotland in a million years.
With an orange glow. After, we're to visit Naas Point Lighthouse, located about an hour's drive from Portree. Naas is the westernmost point on the Isle of Skye, and the scenery here is just beautiful. To get to the lighthouse, it was a fairly easy walk. When we were here, it was so foggy, so I wasn't sure if it would be worth going all the way, but we kept going. There were some amazing sea cliffs on the way. After a little bit more walking, we made it to the lighthouse. It was built in 1909, and I'm glad we made the walk there. Off the shore from the lighthouse, I saw this unnamed waterfall that fell into the sea. It would be cool to check it out if we had a boat. This place also looks amazing during sunset when you have some good weather. After, we're going to visit the Cullen Mountains. The Cullen are a unique mountain range located on the Isle of Skye. Now, a great place to see the mountains from is the Slickishan Old Bridge. From there, you get a great view of the mountains. They have such a unique shape, and I love the contrast of the green peaks against the backdrop of the sky. Another beautiful location in the Cullen Mountains is the Fairy Pools. Located about 30 minutes drive from the Slickishan Bridge, the Fairy Pools are situated at the base of the dramatic black...
That looks like a hat. Like, I don't know, a hat? Sort of, an old hat.
Cullen Mountains. I was blown away by the vibrant green slopes with the dark mountain in the background. Now to get to the pools, it's about a 20-minute walk. There's a series of pools, and they look so dramatic against the backdrop of the Cullen Mountains. Afterwards, we're going to leave the Isle of Skye and visit the Eilean Donan Castle. If you're driving to the Isle of Skye, you'll drive right past it. It's situated on a small tidal island at the point where three sea locks meet. The castle was built in the 13th century, and it was a stronghold for the Mackenzie clan. The castle was destroyed in 1719, but it was reconstructed in the early 1900s. A bridge was built that connected the island to the mainland. Today, you can tour the castle and its grounds for a small fee. I really enjoy walking around it. It would be so cool to live in a castle like this. After, we're to visit probably the most famous lake in Scotland, Loch Ness. With a length of nearly 23 miles long, Loch Ness is one of the largest lakes in Scotland. I mean, it's absolutely massive. Loch Ness is known worldwide for its mythical creature that might be hiding in these vast waters. I mean, while you go to Loch Ness, you can take a Nessie boat tour, and maybe you'll see something strange. Apart from lake monsters, there's a cool castle on the loch shores. It dates back to the 13th century and offers a beautiful view of Loch Ness. After, we're going to take a hike to the top of Ben Nevis. With a height of 4,413 feet, Ben Nevis is the tallest point, not just in Scotland.
I can tell, like, the vegetation, it's very different in this part than in the others.
But all the UK. It's located near the town of Fort William in the Highlands, and what's great about Ben Nevis is that you can hike to the top. There are several routes, and the most popular one is about 10 miles round trip with an elevation gain of 4,400 feet. Depending on your fitness level, it can take anywhere from 6 to 10 hours to complete. The summit is pretty flat with lots of rocks, and it's such a cool mountain to climb. Nearby Ben Nevis are the beautiful mountains near Glencoe. Now, located about 25 minutes drive from Fort William, Glencoe is this little village, but what I loved about this area is its huge mountains. There was this really nice place to park at this little loch.
This part reminds me a little bit of like parts in Norway, I think, without the fjords, but a little bit. Less snowy.
And it was really enjoyable to walk near the lake. You get a great view of the Bedien Nam Bien mountain, which is 3,770 feet high, and it rests right up against the lake. I mean, this whole area is just beautiful. If you keep driving up the road in the eastern direction, you'll reach this viewpoint, which gives you an incredible view of the set of mountains called the Three Sisters of Glen.
This one looks like the one in the left. It looks like, I don't know, someone sort of hugging with a poncho, and you're like hugging someone.
Cool. I mean, the drive through the mountains here is amongst the most beautiful in Scotland, in my opinion. Now, if you keep driving east a few more minutes,
that
you'll
the Three
reach
Sisters?
Bukale Itimor
Oh, this is another
viewpoint.
one.
I think this is one of the most symmetrically shaped mountains I've ever seen. It's almost a perfect pyramid shape. I kept going down the road to this river,
Ooh.
and it gives a beautiful view of the mountains with a little waterfall.
This
The
reminds
mountains
me
in
of
this
like places in the US a little bit.
part of Scotland are just next level.
Like
If
the
you
Rocky
head back near
Mountains?
Glencoe, there's this little island fortress called Castle Stalker. It's located about
Castle
20 minutes
Stalker.
drive from Glencoe, and it's a scenic castle built on a tidal island. The original castle was built here in 1320, but over the centuries it was added onto and then eventually restored. It's 4 stories high and is considered to be one of the best preserved medieval castles in Western Scotland.
Okay, no explanation
I
about
believe
the
the
name.
castle is open to the public sometimes during the summer, but I just viewed it from the nearby shore. Now let's end this
Ooh, I wanna
video off
see it,
at one of the
like,
most
inside.
iconic places in Scotland, the Glenfinnan Viaduct. It's located at the top of Loch Shiel in the West Highlands of Scotland, and it's about a 3-hour drive from Edinburgh. The viaduct was completed around 1898. Now this place may look familiar because it was featured in the Harry Potter films. When seeing the steam train cross the bridge is the main attraction,
Everyone
when I
taking
was there, it
photos.
crossed 4 times a day at these specific times. I didn't realize this when I came, and I ended up missing the train by a few minutes, so then I had to wait 3 hours for it to come again. So make sure you give yourself some time to go.
Yes.
You can view the trains from both ends of the viaduct, and they are great views. So it could be worth it to wait a few hours to see the train come from both angles.
It's a
It does
beautiful
get very
view.
crowded when the train comes, but in between there was less people, which was nice. Now overall this area was magical and definitely a must to visit, especially if you're a Harry Potter fan. Next time I want to book a ticket on the train to get the true Harry Potter experience. Anyways, that
Yeah, I
is it
wonder
for
how
my
it looks
Scotland
like
travel guide.
from
There's
the
still
inside.
so much I missed, so I hope to come back for
Ooh,
part 2.
I love this
Let me know
road.
where your favorite place is in the comments below. It's Ryan, and we will see you later.
Okay, yeah, this I was thinking something very like I would love to live in one of these places.
Tina Castle
I
built on
well,
a tidal-
again, I say this, I do not know how if this is possible. Like I think maybe like it's not available. Like you can't just buy a plot of land here and build a house. I think probably a lot of these are national parks. I understand that, but still, like in my fantasies, I'm like, wow, can I move there? I think it's just so beautiful that I'm being drawn to this. So I just like, can I move there? It looks beautiful. Yes, where can I buy a house there? It's just incredible. I think it just looks so stunning. All those clips, or they're just making me want to. I don't know. They don't even make me want to book a ticket. They just want to make me want to move. I think this is incredible. I love it. I don't really have a favorite because all of them are so great, or so beautiful. That I'm thinking it's just making me, I don't know, it's making me imagine a different life. It's sort of, oh yeah, can you move there? What would you do? I think one of these things is, maybe it's because again you're surrounded by nature, and I understand like logically you don't want, obviously again, because I assume a lot of these are protected, they're national parks or just protected by the government. And I understand why they do this. Obviously they don't want humans ruin it, ruin this place, which I wholeheartedly agree. But at the same time, it's, oh, but can I move there? It's sort of, yes, I know logically. It's exactly what I would do, of course. Humans kind of like, we tend to ruin a lot of things. And I understand that if we let humans like live in those places, we wouldn't have them. They're beautiful and they're well maintained simply because humans haven't come around. But I don't know, it's just so incredibly isolated that I don't know, you're just kind of like, yeah, sure, I want to move there. Probably you wouldn't, I don't know, it would be nice, I think, probably for a few days. Probably by the end of the month, you would probably be like, I have to get back to civilization. But I don't know, it's just nice to imagine, living in one of these places. Imagine in a different life, basically. I love all these places. All of them, like the log, there's so many logs. They're just all the names, like Glencoe is beautiful. All the little Bukale Itimor, I can't remember the name, I can't pronounce that. Still, all of these, even the castle, the Stalker Castle, which I would love to know, why is it called the Stalker Castle? Like, okay, with no explanation. I want an explanation. I love that you can actually make a tour. You can do a tour because everything looks, obviously, again from the outside, it's beautiful. But I kind of want to go and I want to see how the inside of the Stalker Castle looks like. I can imagine a lot of things because with that name, is it gonna be like, I don't know, piles of hair of out of the people that you're stalking, something, I don't know, whatever, photographs, what is this? Obviously again, maybe old timey. My mind went to something old timey, Victorian period, I don't know, hair or something, and not something modern as photographs. But I don't know, it's just why is it called like that? Maybe it's because they were like, I don't know, warriors or something that came, that wanted, they surrounded this area, so they needed a castle to, yeah, it's the Stalker Castle, because this castle, we can hide there and people, like, you'll know if they're coming. I don't know, that doesn't really sound that doesn't sound like a legit war strategy, so probably not. But again, I would love to know the name. The other is they call mountains on the fairy pools. I love the name of the fairy pools, because once you look at them and you're thinking, I was looking at them and I was like, I understand the name, just because I could imagine, all the little, I get what it's called like that. Probably it's a name as a really old name, because I imagine, people way back in, I don't know, in the whatever hundreds, in the 1200s or something, they were thinking, the fairies existed there. And of course, it's a very mystical place. I think Scotland definitely has that. And again, a lot of these mountains and a lot of these places, I think this is like basically all of these. This could apply to everything. I think without even getting into all the stone circles, or like all the St. Kilda and the Isle of Skye and all of that. I just think the Old Man of Storr, all of these places and all these mountains, they just have something very particular that makes them, I don't know, so old. Like the land is really old. And I understand a lot of places, like basically every single place in the planet is like this, is very old. But there's just something, a very special quality that I can't really quite put my finger on this and like actually point out what exactly it is about these places that make it so magical, that make it so mystical, that make it so like there's just something extra about these things and on these places. There's something that you really can't explain, that there's just like a mystical quality. I don't know, and it's not just because, obviously when the fog comes on and you're like walking and just you have the cliffs and you can listen to the ocean, the ocean crashing in the cliffs, and you have the fog, and there's just this very, like, when you're walking over those really dry stones, but you can feel the humidity in the air, and you also get wet because of the fog. I don't know, it's just it creates a lovely sort of ambiance, and it is lovely. And of course, and I can tell why, if you're like walking around those places and you're like, oh my god, look at this, I can tell why you feel as if you either travel back in time, or you just didn't even, like, it's not even that about walking, I walk past, again, I travel back, 1,000 years into the past. It's not necessarily that. It's just literally you feel as if I'm not even in the past, I'm in another universe, I'm in another planet, because everything is so otherworldly in a way that is just crazy. And again, I get it when there's like the fogginess and all that I just mentioned. The place really does lend itself for you to think, oh my god, again, you have this lovely, incredible ambiance that is just it's incredible vibes all over. Yes, but even when where there's no fog, when you only have the cliffs and just this hills, and it's just, this road and this cliffs and this mountains, and it's just green and this very mossy. And you can sort of, you have to be careful because you're going to slip, because a lot of the humidity, I can smell it. It's just, again, it's just a lovely place. It's just a lovely area. And again, you can really do sort of tell there's something sort of ancient about this type of land, about this place, that again, you can't really explain. And it's because, I don't know why places have, this kind of quality, because technically there's so many places in the world that are also as equally, if not, as old, but there's just something about them that, I don't know, it's just a very special thing that, you can't really put it into words. As for the stone circles, of course, I would love to visit the stone circles. I think they just have so many stone circles. I understand it was probably the same people that built this, or at least civilizations that were sort of similar to each other. They didn't really happen. It wasn't just, by coincidence. Yes, I understand that. But still, I get, it's lovely. I think, again, all of these places with all the stones, they are very charged. Probably it's like a very charged environment. Just because, as they mentioned, it's just you are standing in the place where literally, like, thousands of years ago, some people did this and they built the stones. Well, they didn't build the stones, they moved the stones, and they did something, either rituals or calendars or whatever theory people, have with them. But you're standing in the same place as humans, were doing something, and they were trying to build something 4,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. And again, it's just how it's sort of like how it has, passed the test of time, which is one of the hardest things, I think, as humanity and as civilization and as humans, because things are meant to, as everything has a time. And everything ends, basically. Everything dies, everything ends. That's just a circle of life and the universe, and it's good. That's not a bad thing. But you see it like this, and again, all civilizations fall. Everything falls, everything's forgotten at some point. Every great artist, a lot of great artists, a lot of great poets, a lot of like great writers, whatever. Some of them do exist, of course, and they, about Plato, about Aristotle, whatever. But my point is that usually a lot of these things are sort of lost in time. When it comes to like written word or, paintings and art, it's a little bit different because, people tend to be more, careful about preserving all of those things, and it lives through oral history. However, when it comes to something that humans actually built, as in with their bare hands and using tools and all of whatnot, but still, my point is that it's something that humans have built. It's like one of the easiest things for it to like be forgotten is that, because humans, although again we are great at what we do and we're great builders and we build incredible civilizations, I think it's just, the test of time is just a test that not a lot of, buildings or things that we have built have the chance to actually withstand. Because again, it's, there's, erosion, it's rocks, they're going to erode eventually, they're going to disappear, natural disasters, rain, whatever. There's just so many things, other humans that come along and destroy it, whatever. But the rock doesn't burn, but you can destroy them. There's just so many factors that it's incredible that that so many of them still exist, that we're able to see them. And again, it's just a testament of like how incredible it is that you're standing in the place where an ancient civilization once stood and, did something with this, something that was clearly very important to them. And, we are here thousands of years later wondering about, I wonder what on earth they were using this for. And still you're able to sort of feel it. You can sort of touch them and you can walk along those same places. And again, it's just lovely to see because yes, even though it's really hard for things, that humans have built to stand the test of time, some things still remain. And I think it's just, oh my God, it's lovely. And again, I can tell why, you can get very emotional, I think, when you're sort of walking around, those stone circles. It's not necessarily because, some other thing. I just think if you really do think about this through, it's really like, wow, it's an amazing thing. The fact that, they're here, we can see them, and we're still wondering what they were using these for. But, it's amazing. But that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!